Hello, and welcome to the House of Iya. Today, I'm going to be talking about our program, the Human Presence Method, the missing piece in caregiving. Today, I'm going to do a little presentation to give you a better understanding of how this training works. Okay, so I'm going to start by just let me say something. Most people don't want to say out loud that caregiving isn't hard. It's misunderstood. We train people how to complete tasks, but we don't train them how to be human while doing them. And that's why caregivers burn out. That's usually why clients feel unseen. And that's why agencies stay in a constant cycle of hiring and losing good people. I've worked in caregiving long enough to see the pattern, not just in clients, but in caregivers. It's the ones that give the most that are usually the ones that burn out the fastest. And that's not because they're weak, but because nobody really taught them how to manage their energy, their boundaries, or their natural way of caring for others or caring for themselves. So I built something different. Right now in this industry, caregiving training focuses on tasks like how to bathe, feed, transfer, document. But nobody's really talking about, or it gets a footnote, nobody's really talking about emotional overload. When you take on too much and you just need a break and you don't know why, your caregiver just needs a break. And this can go for people who are working in administration all the way to the caregivers. So emotional overload, there's energy burnout, emotional or personality clashes, and then the mismatch. Why one caregiver thrives with the client and the other one shuts down. We have the mismatch that goes on sometimes. The energy levels or the personalities will clash. And I mean, let's be real. Some caregivers aren't struggling because they don't care. They're struggling because they care too much without structure. And others, they're simply overwhelmed because they don't know how to connect. So I've created something called the Human Presence Method. This method focuses on the part of caregiving nobody trains, the human experience. It teaches caregivers how they show up naturally, what drains them, how to set boundaries without guilt, and how to adapt to different personalities without losing themselves. Because caregiving is not one size fits all. It's relational. It's emotional. It's energetic. And once caregivers understand how they care, everything changes. For example, some caregivers are natural nurturers. They're warm, intuitive, and deeply compassionate. But they burn out because they take on too much. Others are structured and organized. They bring stability, but struggle when things get emotional. And then you have the creative ones. They connect through personality, energy, and engagement. None of these are wrong, but if you don't understand your style, you'll keep ending up in situations that drain you. I recently introduced this in a live session with caregivers, and something interesting happened. They started recognizing themselves immediately, not in a judgmental way, but in that that's why I feel like this kind of way. And when that clicked, you could feel the shift in the room. Because when caregivers feel seen, they show up differently. When they feel understood, they show up differently. When they understand themselves, they stop overextending. And when that happens, clients get better care without the caregiver losing themselves in the process. The future of caregiving is not just about skill. It's about self-awareness. It's about understanding people, not just managing tasks. And whether agencies adopt to this or not, caregivers are already feeling the gap. They're already tired. They're already overextended. And they're already looking for something that actually supports them. This isn't extra. This is what's missing. And once this becomes standard, we're going to look back and wonder why it wasn't always done this way. If you are a caregiver, an agency, or someone in this space, pay attention, because this is just the beginning.